Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my bullet journal setup for June. Here is just a few of the supplies that I will be using: my Bombay Indian inks, my fine liner pens, my white gel pen, there's also a white Posca pen, and my grey Tombow jewel tip marker. Unfortunately, as nice and thick as the Archer and Olive paper is, and it's able to withstand some watercolour, its limit is Indian ink. Unfortunately, I had a lot of issues with bleed through and things with this setup, so unfortunately I haven't been able to quite do it to the vision I had in my head, but I did what I could with the blunders that followed. Unfortunately I did do a test and it seemed alright as long as I wasn't too heavy-handed. It didn't bleed through the paper. But I got into my hyper-focus art brain, I suppose, and I went too heavy, and unfortunately it's actually quite difficult to not be with the ink, so I definitely would recommend going with watercolour rather than inks in this situation if you're planning on replicating or doing your own version of this setup. So this will be also the last spread in this journal. So in the next video, we'll be setting up a second bullet journal for this year, which is super exciting. I have some ideas in mind already. I'll definitely be going for more of a, hopefully, illustrative vibe. As in this one, I went for a bit more painterly, scrapbooky kind of vibe, so I want to challenge myself a little bit more with doing some more illustration things as well, which I am working on getting all of my setups, either just sort of black and white line work or colours, put into a digital format so I can put them on Patreon and up on my Etsy shop. But yeah, the reason I went for the Indian inks was just because they were so much more vibrant than the watercolours I have. And they just looked a bit nicer, but I did have all the problems with them, unfortunately. We are just tidying up some of the inside of the lettering with my Posca white paint pen. Moving on now to the sort of month at a glance page. Unfortunately, the clip of me doing all of the boxes was nowhere to be found when I moved all of my footage across. I'm not sure if I missed it, or I thought I'd pressed record and I hadn't pressed record, or I'm not sure. Some form of technical issue. But you've all seen me draw boxes many times before, and if you want the dimensions, I will happily leave those in the comments for you. This is one of the pages I had to redo just because of all of the bleed through I had on the other side. So that's why you can kind of see that there is an additional piece of paper on this page in particular. But I wasn't quite ready to give up on this technique just yet, just because of how I just love how it looks. So we've got my usual month at a glance, my goals for the month, events, and then my to-do list at the bottom and my habit tracker on the other side. I will also say, just in case it ends up being a little late, next month's video might be a touch late. It might not be. I am going in for a minor surgery next month, so nothing to worry about, but it just may cause a slight delay on videos. Hopefully not, though. I will say, if you're thinking of trying Indian inks for yourself as well, they do dry pretty quickly compared to watercolors, and obviously this is only 160 GSM paper, so it can't withstand too much and does just kind of absorb the inks and things. So I'd recommend watercolors over the inks again if this is a spread that you would like to try. Also, what themes are you guys doing for the month of June? As it's Pride Month, we've got rainbows for me. I do tend to struggle trying to pick a theme during the summer months just because flowers and things in summer just isn't my vibe. I very much struggle during the summer months with heat and stuff like that. So it's not something that brings me inspiration. I'm very excited for the more autumn months, and mushrooms and Halloween and everything like that is definitely a bit more my vibe. But I'd love to know what you guys have done or are planning to do for your June spreads. and July if you've got an idea for those already, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. Also, partway through doing these dots, I very much wish I'd chosen markers to do them instead. But I was just waiting for them to dry. Took a while cleaning the brush in between each colour and things. We are a little close up on me filling in all of the numbers for the habit tracker. So these boxes quite happily fit 5 weeks in, but some months do have a little more, I believe. And here we are on to the first weekly spread. And again, you can see that I've had to stick a new piece of paper on the back of this page as well, because bleed through. But we make a statement out of it, and you'll get to see kind of the start of me choosing to go down a slightly different path. I do still try to do my idea on this page, but again, it bled through. So save Indian inks for watercolor paper and sketchbooks, as it is too mighty for even the thick general paper that Archer and Olive have. And I believe the general standard is about 160 GSM for most good quality paper journals. I keep checking to see if it's going to bleed through, because I really wanted this to work. And unfortunately, with the ways I've set out my weeks, if it bled through on some pages, then it wasn't going to be good. But I think my fix is okay. See, things are drying a bit too quickly. So I had to go over the top again with another layer, which I think is what led to the paper's demise. So here is my fix. Instead of doing exactly what I wanted, because unfortunately things don't always work out, I painted with the same Indian inks a gradient onto an Archer and Olive notepad. So they do notepads with spare sheets in, and they're not quite A5 sized, they're a touch smaller, and I use these to kind of use as my coloured pieces. And also, I don't recommend this glue stick. I ordered a new Pritt stick and apparently they didn't have any in stock, and I got given that instead. So there we go. Also, apologies if you hear any sniffing in the background. I will try and cut it out, but the allergies are kicking my butt right now, so apologies if I miss the odd sniff in editing. So I'm just measuring out how much I need now for the second weekly setup. And if you're new here, I do set up the full month in one go, just because the way I work, I like to plan kind of my whole month, and I've tried doing week by week in the bullet journals, and it's just not a system that works for me doing it that way. I just forget, and then I just don't bother. So for me, the best way for me to be able to keep up with bullet journaling is to set the entire month up in one go, and then it's there, and I don't have to remember to set anything up during the month. It's all there ready for me to use and plan. So I did want that centerpiece to kind of remain one piece, but it wasn't going to work with the chunk that is previous to this setup, so I had to sort of score it down the middle and separate it a little bit. But it's not the end of the world. I think this still looks nice. Yes, I would have preferred how I wanted to do it in the first place, but now we know. 160 gram GSM paper cannot do Indian inks. It sucks. Camera's struggling to focus. Apologies for that. I do very much enjoy these little close-up shots, but to get a lot of them I can't sit in a very ergonomic position, so I've got to pick my moments. Here we are, starting to set up my journal pages. This is just doing the header. And again, I would have preferred to do it the way I did the habit tracker. But bleed through. Unfortunately, we can't all have things the way we want. But it's a lesson learned. My corner punch was not playing ball. I'm just keeping it super simple for the journal pages. My trusty grey lines that for some reason I've fallen in love with. They just help break up a larger space, I suppose. And more dots. All of the dots. And here we are onto the flip through. Again, I would have really loved to been able to go all out with the more kind of watercolor inky vibe. I love the look of it, but we've got to adjust where we need to adjust. I still really like this setup, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video as well. Please do leave any comments, suggestions and feedback down below. Let me know what your future setup ideas might be. What are you doing for June and July? And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.